Well, welcome once again. This is Dick, the Mick, the Doctor of Digital at the Doctor of Digital podcast. And the purpose of the show is to transform your business and life with education and inspiration. I introduce busy business leaders, trends in business, technology, and marketing to highlight people you should know. Are you struggling to make your business visible in the digital age? Did you know that over 68% of businesses are found through mobile searches? In today's fast-paced world, having a strong online presence isn't just an option. It's essential for survival and growth. But with the ever-changing landscape of search engines and social media, how can local businesses stay ahead of the curve without breaking the bank or getting lost in technical jargon? Our guest today has cracked the code of local online visibility and is here to share secrets that could revolutionize your approach to digital marketing. Rob Downey and his team are seasoned experts with over 50 years of combined retail and tech experience. These industry veterans have seen it all in the ever-changing world of local business and have distilled their knowledge into practical, user-friendly tools that can supercharge your local online presence. Their expertise has helped businesses increase local website traffic by up to 20%, directly impacting sales and profitability. Featured on major networks including CBS News, ABC, NBC, and Fox, the team offers insights on SEO, social media strategies, and local online marketing that cut through the confusion of complex strategies and expensive agency fees. Whether you're a tech-savvy or a complete novice, their approach empowers businesses to maximize their online impact efficiently and cost-effectively. Get ready to discover how you can leverage voice, search, manage listings across 300 plus networks, and target the right audience for maximum impact, all while potentially saving thousands in marketing costs. During this episode, we'll do a deep dive into the changes and hot topics of SEO, its biggest challenges and growth, and I will leverage the expertise of my guests and how to navigate the unique dynamics of the field. And at the end, I hope you encourage you to contact my guest, Rob Downey, who makes it simple for your business to be found. With that, welcome to the program, Rob. And I'd love to know how you got into this business in the first place. How did this happen?
Yeah, I started back in 1995 with my grandparents' furniture store, and we actually I built a website for it. I think I was one of the first, if not the first person to ever sell office furniture, especially B2B, back then. Since then, I've owned multiple different businesses, done multiple different things. But since 2008, I've been doing agencies and have owned and taken stuff all the way to being sold and everything else for VCs. Right. Done VC work and all that. But what really simply we found ended up being formed by was because we saw a need inside of the business. One of my clients, which is now my business partner and co-founder, Dean Kaler, him and I both came up with the idea. I walked into his business one day and said, how are you being found? How's things going? He goes, things are going great. This is the beginning of 2020. And what ended up happening from that is I said, well, how are you being found on voice search? He goes, I don't know what that is. I said, well, ask Siri. So we did a search. We're sitting inside of his business. And he did a search. He goes, he didn't come up. 3 of his competitors did. One was in a different town across the highway. And we started kind of playing around with it. And Simply We Found came from that. We're like, all right, well, we can put everything inside of one spot for him to be able to list everything, get on voice search, make doing local SEO easy and simple, and make it straightforward. And that's really how we kind of got into it. And we first started this business right at the very start of COVID.
Oh, wow. Interesting times, right? So
exactly.
What would you say, it's been a while, so I'm just curious, what are some of the biggest changes that you have seen over the last years in the course of your career?
I'd probably say in the last year for my career, the biggest change I've seen is AI. AI is taking over everything. We have actually some big changes that happen to the platform that are coming up in the next couple of weeks, and they're all because of AI. I'm seeing businesses be found on ChatGPT. I'm seeing businesses be found on Gemini more than they've ever been found before. You have a bunch of Google updates that are going to be happening. They're putting Gemini directly right into search. Bing is putting ChatGPT onto there. People are now going to there and saying, okay, here's my problem. What local companies have a business that can solve this problem, and having Chat GPT or any of those AI tools do the research for them, which will go out, look at the reviews, figure out what's real, what's not. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest changes I've seen inside of local SEO. The other one would be more people are using their mobile phones. You have more people now using their mobile phones than ever. And a lot of that is because of your elder population. I mean, they can't see their phone. Yellow Pages doesn't exist anymore. They learn they can talk to it and they can hear the results. And a lot of times it goes into the hearing aid.
Yeah, very interesting because I've been watching I watch AI really closely, and now there's some voice applications for AI, which is kind of a new thing as well too. So it's that next step. I mean, that is one of the things you said. Are there other hot topics that you would say? Because I definitely see AI. Are there other things that are hot topics?
AI, voice. I'm seeing more businesses start doing their own marketing and making sure that they come up inside of search. I'm seeing a trend where pay-per-click is not as popular as it once was. I mean, Google's struggling right now because of that, in my opinion, just because people are not seeing the results from it. People scroll right past those pay-per-click areas. That's probably the biggest ones I see.
Yeah, not just your opinion. I agree too, and I'm seeing that, and I'm hearing the same thing. So yeah, that really corresponds. So I'm curious.
Some people totally disagree on that, but usually they're the ones making money off of it.
Well, that's true, right? So it's like, well, that's always the bottom line, right? So that's going to be really critical. So I'm curious that how did you develop this? Because it is some new things and new areas. So how did you develop it? What would you say are some of the groundbreaking ideas that you came up with in order to get into the field?
Well, we started with doing a to-do list. It all starts with that. So being able to give a to-do list for that business owner to log in, see the to-do list right at the very beginning, and make it super simple to be able to talk to all the networks. So they can update their information from one spot, and it goes out absolutely everywhere. In the next couple weeks, we're going to be going out to Yellow Pages, so YP.com, Super Pages. We're going to be going out to about 300 additional networks. So it's going to be absolutely crazy when that happens.
Is there something that you'd say is kind of unique or different? I mean, what sort of insights can you offer people, especially business owners, CEOs, presidents?
You know, we don't offer very much for insights. We don't do reports at all. I feel like most of the numbers that come from Google voice search doesn't have any reports whatsoever. So most of those numbers that come from Google, I don't really believe. I had a fake business that had 10,000 direction requests last month, and I know it didn't get any, and if it did, I'd really like to know where those came from and where they went to. But it's one of those things to where we don't do the report side. We give that local SEO score at the very top of our welcome page. That's going to tell you where you are basically for all of your different places. When it comes to your marketing, you got 3 principles that we follow, and that's going to be content, authority, and trust. Those are the 3 biggest pillars you could possibly follow for being able to do any of your marketing, especially for local SEO.
So there's no such thing as like in typical or average business, but I mean, to ask you a question along those lines, like what kinds of things would you recommend? I think particularly for those people who are not on board yet, what kinds of things would you suggest they start looking at?
Start looking at where you're at. Make sure you're doing your content. I'd say probably 70% or more of the businesses I talk to are not doing a post over to Google. They don't even know they can do a post on Google. And if you go to Google Direct and set your Google business profile, that's called an update, do a post. And do a post at least once to twice a week. You're going to see results from that. I recommend posting daily. That can get really tedious because especially if you can't schedule that out. Before you could schedule stuff inside of Google, and you can't do that anymore. With our platform, you actually can, and our free tools actually let you do that included in it as well. But going through and schedule those posts out. Do your frequently asked questions inside of Google, which is your questions and answers. Those are going to help you a lot on the content side. On the authority side, try to get your business in as many directories and places as you can. Make sure you're being found on voice search. Make sure that data is being picked up. Okay. And then, of course, get your reviews. And that's where your 3 pillars come from: the content, authority, and trust.
There are some numbers you give a statistic, like how many people are searching, how many people use search for voice? Is there some idea what you can get to so people can get a grasp of it?
I mean, not really. So when you look at your data of how many people are finding you from voice search,
Yeah.
so voice search is still in that infant stage to where it's not really that big of it's still very brand new. So like when a voice search happens, say you use Alexa to make a voice search and you ask Alexa to find a pizza shop near you. That search happens. Alexa is going to go out. It's going to look at your Google business profile. It's going to look at Bing places. It's going to look at all these different profiles, and it's going to put that data set back together, especially with AI, and it's going to give the best result. The other day, I did a search inside of Alexa. It came up with all the correct business information, but said that place had 370 reviews, and it was a total different business. I mean, that stuff is still brand new. But when those searches happen, when Alexa goes and hits it, all it looks to that Google business profile is it's one hit to that Google business profile. It doesn't say it came from search or from voice search at all. None of that data is being tracked yet from a data aspect.
So that's what I'm curious about when you advise businesses, how can you show and demonstrate the effectiveness of these things on local search or voice if there's no data behind it or if you're not sure?
Ask. So when someone calls up, find out where they found you out, find out what they're using to be able to find you. And that is probably one of the hardest things inside a small business, because a lot of small businesses ask and they go, hey, I Googled you. And really, they actually Binged you. They didn't Google you. They actually found you over on Bing. I see that type of stuff all the time. But the biggest thing you can do as a small business owner or any kind of business owner is ask, hey, where'd you find me and how did you find me? Because in the world of marketing, it could be all over the place and the data is never 100%.
Right. And there's things that kind of complicate it, right? So I looked on here,
major.
but I talked to my buddy too. So how did you find me? Well, I did both, right?
Well, I was talking to someone at Chamber the other night, and he's been in business for 18 years, and he thought all of his stuff was doing great in ads and everything. And I said, okay, well, pick up your phone, and I want you to show me how you're doing on your search. And first thing he does is he searches for himself, and he comes up, and I'm like, well, how many people really know your name? What about all the people that don't know your name? And even though, say, your buddy referred you over inside of the digital marketing world, is they will probably go and Google you anyway to be able to figure out where you're at and look at your profile, look at how many reviews you have. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into that piece. So when it comes to the world of digital marketing, in my opinion, it is a cumbersome mess, and it's all disorganized. And one person's view is going to be completely different, and everything is a tangled up mess for how many people look at it, how those networks all look at each other.
And that's often why you need to have somebody like yourself. That's what I always point out. I mean, go to somebody, because I know tons of small business people that say, I'm going to do it myself. And then you see the frustration they go through because it takes time. It's very tedious. They don't have the staff for it. I mean, all those reasons. They just outsource it.
Exactly. And then the problem with outsourcing it, in my opinion, is that person doesn't know your business as well as you do.
True.
You know your target market, you know what's going on inside of your business, and you have, even if you use a person in your staff, they're going to know that business better than anybody. So all the agencies I've ever had, the hardest thing is learning that business and learning that community, because they might not even live in that same community. And California is going to be different than New York, and everything in between is going to be different in its own unique way.
You recommend working with somebody within the company. So when you ask where the people find me, you could work with an agency and also work with an inside person who's asking those questions. I would say the key person is the person answering the phone. That's
100%. That's probably one of your number one positions in any company, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so you coordinate with them or collaborate with somebody on the inside, and again, just know the process. And maybe you could tell us, what's the process like? If somebody wanted to reach out to you and work with you, what's the process that you engage them and implement your ideas?
You go to our website, you get access to our platform. So you can sign up for free. You can sign up for a $25 plan or $80 plan. The prices go up from there. You just have to go to the website, sign up. And when you do the sign up process, you're going to get access to the platform right away. It's going to ask you if you want to connect your Google business profile. It walks you through every single step. But our platform is 100% to where you are doing it yourself. We have done for you plans. I discourage anybody from using the done for you plan, because I see better results from someone that's actually doing it inside of the company. So I really push for that. We have no contracts. We have no long-term commitments, none of that stuff. We're month to month.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like immediate results, right? It's like, oh, cool, you can see. And I like that idea too, because I've done this before myself. And I say, well, if I don't work for you, well, after a month, like, what have you got to lose, right?
Exactly. We want to earn your business every single month.
Yeah.
So
That's
we're
right.
going to go to work for it. And if it doesn't work, we want to know it's not working because that's how we improve our system. So probably one of the biggest things that sets us apart from a lot of the big corporations out there. I mean, you got your Yext out there, you have Bird Eye, you have Sign Up, all those different places that we compete against. Well, all of them have investors. They have boards they have to go up against. We're constantly pivoting. We're changing. We're making adjustments. And we don't have to go in front of any kind of board. It's Dean and I, no investors inside of our company. And the feedback we get from our members are the ones that we end up implementing those results for. So if you're not getting the results, we need to know you're not getting those results so we can figure out the reason why behind it.
So you're very nimble and you're agile, right? As opposed to the big agencies. And that's the pros and cons between somebody that's big and name oriented and prestige, but they're not necessarily going to give you the service that you want.
Exactly. You're just talking to a salesperson on the other side and they really don't know anything about you.
Yeah, when you mentioned California, I'm in California. You have to know California itself. The market is completely different depending on what area of California you're in. It's like there's no such thing as all the same.
I've got a good client that I'm really close to, or member inside of the platform, I guess I should say. He's in LA. He has to work 10 times harder, if not 20 times harder, than somebody here in Colorado because your guys' market is completely different. So, I mean, he does garage doors. There's a lot of garage door companies inside of Los Angeles.
Yeah, I would say so. There's a lot of garages and a lot of houses, but even
garages and gates. And it's like, yeah, you have to work a little bit harder inside of California to be able to make the reach. You got a lot more competition.
And it's so local too, because if you're looking at a state like Colorado, Denver and Boulder are significantly different than Grand Junction and some other places as well. It's rural and urban.
And you come up north where we are in the Fort Collins, Greeley area, and we're completely different.
Yeah. Could you offer some things that would say were actionable tips? So in other words, a person listening say, what could you actually do and how do you move forward to get interested and improve their business right now?
If you're to improve your business right now, sign up for us for free, get your local SEO score, look at your to-do list. It's going to make all the recommendations to you. Even if you don't use us as a platform and you don't pay for the service, you could then go do those things on your own. And I've got plenty of YouTube videos that tell you exactly how to do that stuff on your own if anybody's interested on our YouTube channel.
There's somebody listening. How do they get in touch with you? How do they reach out? You said the website, or what would they want to do? What should they do? What would be the next step if they want to work with you?
Next step would be going to simplybefound.com. All of our pricing is up there. If you want to see our YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/@simplybefound. I think you even have one of our codes to be able to give someone some price discounts as well that I'm sure you'll share out to you afterwards as well.
Yep, you bet. Well, Rob, thank you for taking out some time. I think this is an exciting area. It's a new area and a lot of things that are groundbreaking. And also I love that nimbleness of being able to adjust to people and your clients. Good job.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for having me today. And anytime you want to bring me back, let me know. And we could definitely have a conversation about all the different changes because I'm sure in 3 weeks it'll all change again.
Yeah,
that's how fast we're going right now.
That's it. It's AI, right? It's going so fast.
Now it's not people programming. It's just AI programming companies out.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Dr. Robert. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Mick. I appreciate it.
Yeah, right. Sounds good. You know, if you like what you're hearing, make sure that you are liking, subscribing, positively reviewing, and also sharing the Dr. Digital podcast everywhere you go. I want to thank the sponsors of the Dr. Digital podcast, publishers of both Burning America and also On Track Ian Hunter, available on Amazon. And of course, if you want to reach out to me, want to know more about what I do, I help business leaders, CEOs, and entrepreneurs break through their obscurity through oral and written presentations, building credibility and authority. Meet me on Mastering Presentation Secrets on Facebook. Love to see you.